What's going on, guys? Joel Escort here today. Welcome back to a brand new video where today I am going to be doing a beta thoughts video. Now, if you did not see my last video where I kind of covered the alpha, be sure to click that first link in the description or click the eye on the top right hand corner of the screen and go check that out before you watch this, because a lot of the stuff I'm going to be talking about, I'm probably going to be using clips from that video as well. So if you want to watch that in its entirety and then come back to this one, click that first link in the description or click the top right up. The top eye and top right hand corner of the screen, and be sure to like the video, comment down below and subscribe, those notifications on. But without further ado, let's just jump right into the video. So to kick things off, we're going to start with the modes that we got to play in the beta. So we got for 6v6 we had the kill TDM, kill confirm, domination, hardpoint, and control, which was a very popular mode in Black Ops 4 and probably one of my personal favorites. All modes felt really good. I don't think there was anything really significant changes that you could see from the alpha to the beta. I think especially with some of the maps, which we also got, with being the spawns having changes being done, helped with the flow of the gameplay and really kind of picked up the pace a little bit. Kind of made the gameplay feel like it was going a lot faster and you were able to get into more gunfights, so that's an overall good bonus. So for the maps we had, for 6v6 we had Satellite, Miami, Moscow, and a brand new map called Cartel. For the combined operations, we obviously had the same two as before, Armada and Crossroads and Cartel, and we got to finally play the brand new game mode, a VIP Escort, which was Crossroads, Miami, Moscow, Cartel. All the maps felt really good, except for Cartel. And a few sections in Satellite, but obviously these changes I think are a bit too late in the development cycle for them to change, but it's obviously something that needs to be brought up, or they could obviously refine it to a certain point. So with Cartel, yeah, I believe that it's especially in the middle area, if you see going in where the truck is, and especially this is in hardpoint, is a big problem, is the foliage around that middle area is pretty much a little bit too dense, because it's often hard trying to find enemies. Because I know for me, and I was playing with some of my friends, it was a bit of a pain trying to find enemies, because you're just like looking through this foliage and obviously you just get shot out of nowhere, so you're just like, wait, how the hell did they find me and I can't find them? But hopefully they can try to reduce the foliage a little bit, or kind of bring it down so it's to a point where you can actually still be able to see enemies, but if at the point you need to hide, you're still given that option. And for Satellite is the dunes, where you obviously have you can see many clips of just a constant sniper battle. The head glitches I believe need to be fixed a little bit, or maybe an issue with ping, I'm not too sure, but I've had a few times where I was behind cover and I watch back a kill cam and just get shot from the sniper, and somehow I'm behind cover and there's no way for them to be able to shoot through the sand. So that is another thing that we're going to have to look out for going into launch. Now we can get into the VIP Escort. Now, this game mode was a 50-50 for me, because at first I thought it was a very cool idea, like it's like protect the president sort of thing, or protect the asset. That's what I kind of thought of it like from my first thoughts video, and I still stand by that. But I believe that there should be a few minor changes, and this actually came from when I was looking on Twitter one day from Iron Wildcat, and he actually brought up the fact that VIP is boring without kill streaks and should be to a best of 11. Now I actually agree with this, that I felt that kill streaks should actually be added in, because it's kind of like, doesn't make it really that fun. It's just a constant, like a game of hide and seek, but there's obviously one team is favored more to the other, and it's just it needs to go have support streaks or kill streaks implemented into it and be going to a lot longer. I think maybe best of 11 is a little bit too much, but maybe it isn't. You never know. Yeah. So we can now move on to the guns, movement, and gameplay. So obviously we had, I believe it was the same variety of weaponry in the alpha that going for the beta, and the guns felt a lot better. I think that some of them were definitely refined to, they weren't as overpowered to others, but I must say that I think it was in my, when I was doing the beta patch video, is that I still think that snipers need to be buffed again, because obviously a few times I was using the Pellington, it felt like a hit marker machine, and I think a lot of people in the community have also said the same thing. So I think the snipers need to be rebuffed, probably not to an insane level to what they thought, but enough so it's actually, you can deal a considerable amount of damage if you get a chest shot or higher against an enemy. But other than that, the movement, I believe, is also another key thing that needs to be looked at, is because the sliding. I think there's a few clips going around social media during the beta where there was someone just sliding everywhere, and it kind of makes you wonder what's the point of even having to run if you could just slide everywhere, and you just basically get easier way trying to get out of gunfights. You need to have that. You need to have a bit of a challenge when you're trying to fight someone, not just slide away and then hopefully trying to get to cover. But the gameplay felt really fluid. At times there was a bit of a latency and frame loss, I think, but that may change going to the launch, hopefully, so we'll have to wait and see. And another new game mode that they actually added in the first weekend was called Fireteam Dirty Bomb. Now, this is actually probably going to be what would probably be a first look at what the Warzone aspect of Cold War is going to look like going into this year. But essentially, Fireteam Dirty Bomb is a 4v4 squads of 4. I think it's up to 7 teams going into an area, and you have to basically hunt each other down and collect uranium and deposit it into a canister, and obviously detonate those canisters in order to win. I think the score is first to 500, and once you win that, obviously you win the game. I still think when playing, I believe that the kill streaks or score streaks were a little bit overpowered, and the deployment of vehicles that were being spawned in, I think they should be removed, and that the score streaks should be refined to support streaks, such as your spy planes, counter spy planes. The only ones I can think of at the top of my head, but also a few of those, I think, artillery, your napalm strikes. Some ways more support and a little bit of offensive kill streaks that you can actually even out the gameplay a little bit, and not to make it so it's like you're constantly getting swarmed by someone that's flying in a helicopter or sticking to a tank. Like I always say, this is something we're going to have to look for in the full launch, see if any of these changes have been made and if they're actually listening to us and, you know, giving that feedback and trying to make these changes. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is something that I wasn't very fond of talking about in my Alpha Thoughts video, and obviously if you did not see that, I will play the clip here. The thing that I'm not going to really be looking forward to talking about, because obviously this has been a very highly debatable topic between the gaming community across a number of titles. This isn't just including like Call of Duty. It's a number of titles that you could actually categorize this particular feature, and how it changes the player base as a majority, and how people feel that developers obviously aren't thinking about the overall longevity and how they could actually improve the experience for each of the players. They think that this is just an easy way out instead of like say having to add a ranked playlist. Essentially, um, this is going to be about skill-based matchmaking. Now, it has been refined, and there is a considerable difference in especially when I was playing with the players I was up against from the alpha to going from the beta. It was definitely a considerable difference, but you could still tell that it was there. Especially after you probably say you just went like, well, not really going 30 and 0, but you've gone over 30 kills and probably around like 10 to 15 deaths per maybe. It's just an average. And then you could obviously tell that in the next game you were just getting put up against someone who was like been playing for hours and hours upon end, and you weren't really looking for that kind of game. You were just looking to have a good time with your friends and whatnot. So it's just, I still hope that they're going to add a ranked system or a decent ranking system so that they can actually refine the skill-based matchmaking even more and try to make it a bit more of an enjoyable experience. Because especially if you saw the developer tweet, which I'll put it again on the screen, this is saying how popular games like MW2, MW3, like Black Ops 2, all that sort of stuff, all had skill-based matchmaking working in the background. It wasn't actually as heavily influenced now as it was back then. So hopefully they can go back to that sort of system, and then we could hopefully see more of a casual player base start to come back up again and be more enjoyable and not have to lose your mind for days on end when playing, or hours on end I should say, when playing. In addition to the skill-based matchmaking, this is going to be talking about the anti-cheat software, or what needs to be put in absolutely, well, it should be put in immediately, because if you see this article on the screen, which I'll show you, is actually, I believe it's from Eurogamer, and it's talking about how many people have had to turn off crossplay for the second weekend due to the high amount of hackers and cheaters, which obviously surprises me a lot, because it's only been out for probably around a few days to close to a week, and we've already found a small percentage of people starting to exploit and basically ruin the experience to everyone else. So it's just as bad as with skill-based matchmaking, that you're always getting put up against high-level cheaters and hackers that seem to want to ruin everyone's experience. So I'm hoping that they will hopefully come to their senses and actually add in a anti-cheat or some sort of restricted banning system, especially in for Modern Warfare. This isn't just for Cold War. I'm actually saying this for both the Call of Duty titles of the last few years, is the Modern Warfare and Cold War, especially with them both being cross-platform and probably will be maybe cross-generational depending on what you play on. But yeah, that isn't something that I think that needs to be implemented as soon as possible, because it is going to ruin the player base significantly. You're going to drive away so many players, and it is not going to end well. So the next thing I'm going to be talking about is going to be the kill streaks. Now, the kill streaks actually felt a lot better this time coming around for the beta, because a lot of what I was saying before is with the timers, especially for artillery, if that's what you were using, it needed to be extended and on the cooldown side, because there was always, you felt like it was a constant spam of every 5 or 10 seconds you just hear like your announcer saying like artillery inbound or something like that, and it basically would just be a constant barrage of artillery shells just falling from the sky and just ruining your game. So that is a plus for that. Although I still feel that some need to be, damage-wise, need to be nerfed, obviously. I still think that napalm strikes, I think it was the first time I ever used them, they felt a little bit weak. Depending on wherever, some places I dropped them, they felt a little bit weak, and the radius I think was a little bit too small. So I'm not sure if they will actually look into that, but I don't, maybe just me, but you never know. But overall, I think, yeah, depending if that's all the kill streaks we are going to get in this year's launch, then obviously we have a lot to look forward to, and obviously there'll be some things that need to be worked on over the next probably 10 to 11 months, maybe 12 months, depending on that when the next code is going to be announced. But that's obviously a long way away for what it feels like. So we will just have to wait and see. And obviously we can now talk about one thing that I have actually wanted to talk about, and I don't think I ever did in the last video because I completely forgot about it, but that is going to be about the vehicles. Now, vehicles, obviously, I believe they are actually good and bad at the same time. They're obviously good because there's a lot of those maps like Crossroads and Armada, they're massive. You need ways to get around, obviously, so it's obviously going to be good that you have vehicles to get around and maneuver. But for some of the vehicles, such as, I believe, probably tanks and I'm going to call them the gunboats. I don't actually know what the proper name is for them. I still think they need to be put as a two-person vehicle. Now, because it just feels like you have a lot of people that are moving around, especially in Armada. What I found is that you just have two people just going into the gunboats and just staying in there and basically picking off people while they're shooting and driving at the same time. I feel that there needs to be a two-man vehicle. One is driving, another is shooting. It gives some people a little bit more of an advantage. It's just like it makes the driver more aware that you have to keep going around, otherwise you're going to keep getting shot, or you just like, if he takes out the gunner, then that's obviously going to be another problem. I still feel that needs to be something that they look at going into launch, and we'll obviously have to wait and see. But so one other thing I'm going to be talking about is the field upgrades that we got to use, and I believe this is what we'll be using at launch, which what we obviously had was the jammer, field bike, trophy system, SAM turret, gas mine. Now, all of these, I didn't get to use the trophy system, SAM turret, or the gas mine, but the jammer and field mic felt really good. Another one was actually the prox mine. That actually, I think, was probably a bit overpowered at times, depending where you placed it. That's obviously the big part of it. All of them, I think, are going to be, well, they're all well balanced out, except I think they need to some have to have a little bit of a shorter cooldown timer than others. Like your prox mines, I think it's probably like 30 seconds or so. I think that's fine, but it's obviously stuff like probably you say like your field mic, or I think a lot of your support field upgrades. I think there's one of the ones that they have to have a little bit of I feel like they have to have a shorter cooldown timer compared to some of your offensive, which is like your SAM turrets, gas mines, your proxies, and I would actually put trophies under there as well, because I know it's considered a support, but I still feel that it actually could be used as an offensive kill streak. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on how that will go in the launch. I think that about does it for today's video. As always, if you do go on to enjoy this video, be sure to hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe with those notifications on. And as always, I will see you all in the next video.